Here's one of the latest interviews from Rock and Metal Revival. If you want to hear the whole show, go to rmrshow.com. There's brand new music from a brand new band. I wouldn't call them a brand new band, man. These guys have been playing for a while.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Four by Fate, and that song's called Moonshine, and I'm digging it.
Kicking ass, man. It's got some good tunes on this,
Got some great tunes on this album, and I'll tell you what, when I found out some of the players on this album, I was really excited to get a hold of it, and we are lucky enough to have on the show with us today John Regan. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. Thanks a lot for having me, Red and Jerry.
Well, like I was telling you just off the air, I can remember the first time I ever got to see you play live in a band with a guy is kind of a known guitarist.
Yeah, I've heard of the guy before.
Yeah, when I saw you play with Frehley's Comet.
Oh, was that with that Ace guy?
Yeah.
Somebody named Ace.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
I remember.
There's so many Aces.
I vaguely remember that. But I do remember you out there. You had a deep fried Twinkie. Is that?
That was me at the and Jerry had the big corn dog. Yeah,
of
we were
course.
I can do a lot of crazy shit with one of those. Let me tell you.
Hey, who couldn't? Who wouldn't? Who couldn't?
Well, back then, you played with you had Todd Howarth with you, and you've got him with you again. What's been the chemistry that's kept you guys together this long?
Todd and I just we got along great. We met in 1985. Todd was touring with Cheap Trick, playing keyboards and singing the parts that Robin couldn't hit. We won't mention that. But and I was with John Waite, so we did a co-headlining tour that summer, and we just we became fast friends. And obviously, when we needed a great singer, guitar player, keyboard player, songwriter, and Frehley's Comet, Todd was my first call. So here we are going on 30 years later and still having a great time playing rock and roll together. It's a real honor and privilege to call him my bandmate and friend.
Well, and you've got Rob Alfuso from Skid Row, and tell us a little bit about everybody who's in the band.
Well, the band as it sits now is Todd Howarth, vocals, guitars, keyboards. Pat Gasparini is doing vocals and guitars. Rob Alfuso, who everybody knows from Skid Row, on drums, and myself on the 4-string bass guitar.
Nice.
And John, what brought you four together? Has this band been in the works for a few years, or is this just something that came together over the last year or so?
Right, you guys sitting down ready to hear a relatively long story that I'll try to keep as short as I can?
Oh, we've got all the time in the world.
Sure.
Beautiful. Okay. Here's what happened. I was fortunate to the better part of 31 years being Peter Frampton's bassist. We wrote songs together. We have a electronics company called Frampton, and we're great friends. And we were doing the last tour that I did with Peter was November 2010, and we were in South America in the first portion, and then in Australia on the second portion. And I was absolutely flabbergasted that a lot of friends would come up to me in those countries with Frehley's Comet records that much later. I mean, we were talking about 23 years after the fact, so it kept happening. I don't think Peter was too happy about it, but that's another story. But I was really humbled by it all. So when I got home and had some time off, I decided to give Todd a call because we hadn't spoken in a while. I tried to always see him when I was on the road and vice versa. But I said, Todd, there's still an interest in this. And, in about a year and a half, we got the 25th anniversary of the first Frehley's Comet record. What do you think about maybe doing, 10, 12 shows? We'll do a DVD. We'll get Richie Scarlett to just kind of bring everybody back together and have some fun with it, because we did have fun back in those days. And he said, great. So I tracked Ace down at a Kiss. That wasn't a Kiss convention. It was a Chiller Theater convention.
Mm-hmm.
One of these things where you just sit down and sign autographs and take pictures for 3 days. I managed to get in to see him. We hadn't seen each other in a few years, but I said, Ace, I gave him the whole story. So we got a great chance to celebrate and do something for our friends and our fans. And he goes, Johnny, I need $10,000, and that was the end of that story.
Yeah.
So there was no way we were going to get enough to get him $10,000 every show and pay everybody else that had to be paid.
Yeah.
So that kind of took the wind out of our sails for a bit. But then I happened to be online on Facebook, where I spend way too much of my time. But,
Guilty.
I know. But Mitch LaFon, who's a Canadian rock journalist, was putting together a Kiss tribute record called A World with Heroes, but it was to benefit Canadian hospital and hospice research. Now, too many of us have dealt with hospice services, with our loved ones, but they are angels on earth. And so I contacted him. I didn't know Mitch. I just gave him a little introduction email. I said, listen, if there's anything I could do to volunteer my services for this project, because the music's going to be fun, and it couldn't be a better cause. So, long story short, I ended up playing on a few tracks on that. It's a double album. If you haven't had it, and you're a Kiss fan or just a great rock and roll music fan, it's a must-have, because it reads like a who's who of musicians that donated their time and their talent to that record. So, Mitch, the stuff that I worked on came out pretty darn good. So Mitch said, listen, you think you want to get a hold of Todd? Maybe he'd be interested. And I said, well, I wouldn't mind redoing Breakout, which was one of my favorite tracks from the Frehley's Comet days. Todd sang it, and the late Eric Carr wrote it. I said, absolutely, let's see if Todd's up for it. He was. Kevin Valentine laid the drums down in California, popped it over to me. I put the bass on. I sent it back to Todd in San Diego, and it ended up on the record. Record came out, and Mitch got some calls from promoters saying, you think John and Todd would be interested in putting a band together? So what happened was, at that point, Mitch suggested Sean Kelly, a Canadian guitarist from Helix. He also plays with Nelly Furtado. Interesting guy, great guy, amazing player. He's got a couple of classical albums out. He's a young guy, but his main love is 80s rock music. So he wanted to to get together with Todd and I, and then a friend, Danny Stanton, brought in Stet Howland from Wasp, and that was the original version of 4 by Fate. And we did a couple shows. We did the oh my God, what was the name of that? A big rock. One of these big outdoor things in the Alcatraz Festival over in Belgium.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
So that was great. And then we had the first 6 songs ready. Todd had pretty much put 6 songs together for us to record. And 2 days before we were going to record, we found out that Stet Howland was in a terrible automobile accident and in hospital. And nobody knew what the outcome of that was going to be. Thankfully, now he's back up and running. But at the time, Todd had flown in from San Diego, and the studio was booked and paid for. We needed a drummer. Got back on the phone with Danny Stan. Said, Danny, this can't be canceled. Everything's, we're 2 days away from this. He suggested A.J. Pero, and I had only known A.J. from Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
They said, well, look, let me check it out. Let me go online, Google it, YouTube it, and what came up, he had just done a Bonzo Bash where I forgot which song he was playing, but he completely blew me away as a drummer when I watched that clip.
Nice.
So I called Danny back and said, yeah, can we get him? He's in New Jersey, so he was close enough to get here. And Todd sent him the songs on about a day and a half's notice. We're waiting for him at the studio. We get a phone call from AJ. You're not going to believe this. I just got in a car accident. I said, you got to be kidding me. It's like, this can't be happening.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he wasn't hurt, so we sent a car around to fetch him, and he got to the studio late and then sat down and played 6 of fabulous drum tracks. And we're so honored that we had that experience with him musically and personally, and that the last 6 tracks that AJ ever recorded before he passed away, unfortunately, last year.
Well, I tell you, the first tune that I heard, Muncie says, Red, you're the big Ace fan, you got to hear this. And I heard the remake of It's Over Now, which was one of my favorite songs off the first Frehley's Comet.
Mine too.
Frehley's Comet CD, and it just hooked me. And now, have you guys got plans, to go out and play any, out on the road at all? Or are you gonna stay East Coast, or what's the plan?
We're talking to management now. We're talking to agents now. The whole thing kind of evolved in that's where the fate comes in. It evolved in a strange way. We were going to put this album out on our own,
Okay.
Through CD Baby. And then Pat Gasparini, who's our guitar player now, contacted a buddy of his, Leo Lavoro, who was working for a label called The End Records. And literally at the 11th hour, CDs were already getting, the covers were getting ready to be pressed, the inserts, and The End was interested in signing us. So we basically just scrambled and got them involved, and in a very short period, they've done an incredible job rolling this record out. We couldn't be happier with that label. They are U.S., South America, and Canada, and we have a label called Amazing Records in the U.K., Europe, and Scandinavia. But so we're kind of, unfortunately, we're playing catch-up right now, and Muncie's also done an amazing job for us. I'd never met him before. He's legendary. I've heard the legend of Muncie, but
yeah, he's cool.
Once I met him, man, he's a paisan. My name sounds Irish, Regan, but I'm really 100% Sicilian, and that's another story that I may or may not be able to tell you. But
so now, John, where is this available? Is this available in all record stores on CD? Is it available on vinyl?
It's not available on vinyl. We've been talking about that. It's available on Amazon, the Amazing Records website, the End Records website. I believe it's in Best Buy. It's iTunes. It's pretty much everywhere where you normally would get records. And I know we just had the pleasure of doing 3 in-store acoustic performances last week. One called Looney Tunes Records, and I think that was in New Jersey. And another one called Dark Side Records. Wait a minute. Looney Tunes was in Long Island. Vintage Vinyl was in New Jersey, and Dark Side Records was up here near me in Poughkeepsie, New York. And it was so great to see record stores and vinyl.
Yeah,
and,
nice. Yeah.
Most of these places are family run, and it's just, I love it. I love that they're still around, and they're becoming more important by the day.
Yeah, we're big supporters of local record stores. We're that and shows like this that play music that corporate radio won't touch.
Yeah, well, God bless you guys.
Well, you said you worked with Peter Frampton. You said for, 30 years?
31 years. Yeah, I was the writer. We wrote together. I was his bass player. We just, good friends. Good, long friendship, which is very unusual in the business that we're in.
Well, he's pretty well known for the talk box. Now, do you think the talk box is underutilized nowadays? Not enough of it?
I don't know, because it's funny. We do. Peter and I have a company together with Mark Snyder called Framptone, and we manufacture them.
Nice,
yeah. Well, it kind of came out of necessity because Peter's on the road constantly, and so he puts a lot of wear and tear on everything, and we just basically built a bulletproof talk box because this way, he used to be blowing drivers in the other ones. But,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a niche item.
But being that
I don't know how much of it you could take if it was overused.
But then if you sell more of them, that's good business. So
we
should probably try to put
that
it
would
in
be
everything.
Great. But it rattles your teeth pretty good. We sold one of our Framptones to Richie Sambora, and we couldn't believe he was plugging like a 100-watt Marshall head into it, and I don't know if he has any teeth left from that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I got one question about the Ace years. Now, what I remember, one of my favorite videos was the Insane video.
Yeah, that was a tough one to do.
There was a lot of big-breasted chicks in that thing. That must have been terrible for you guys. I mean,
I don't remember that part.
That?
Yeah, you should have seen the European version of it. I don't know. You might have, but
shit, I didn't know about that.
There's one of those.
Oh, we'll have to do some searching now.
Well, I've been happily married for a long time, so you'd have to ask Todd about him poking his head through this girl's legs. But I tell you what, it was the time went by very quickly for some reason.
Nice. What did you think of Ace's Washburn guitar? The black.
It looked cool. I don't think it sounded very good.
Yeah, it didn't have the tone, the Ace tone it meant to me.
Nah. And he is amazing. I've had the good fortune working with a lot of great guitar players, but he's the one. a Les Paul, a guitar chord, and a Marshall, and those fingers.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah.
You know, a lot of guys use all those effects and everything. He's just got it. It comes out of his soul, through his fingers, onto the guitar, and out the amp.
Yeah.
Well, I really hope that you guys get out to the Midwest, because I've got an original copy of the Frehley's Comet on vinyl.
Oh, great! Wow.
That I would like to have you and Todd sign, that Ace has already signed. That would be outstanding, and we'd love to see you guys live out here.
We're really working on it. We are doing a show that's booked in October. It's a 3-day festival that Ace is on, and we're on the same day. Twisted Sister is headlining that night, and that's kind of like that's kind of one of their last appearances in the tri-state, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area. So it's called the Rock Carnival.
That's out east, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in New Jersey, September 30th. We're playing October 1st and then October 2nd. But Ace is going to be there, and I've already tried reaching out to his people to see if he might want Todd and I to jump up and do a song or two. We'd love to do it.
That'd be awesome. That'd be outstanding.
Well, and I think we should be touring. I mean, 4x8, Ace Frehley bill, I think would be relatively
I do too.
Well received.
I'll have to throw that at John next time I talk to him.
Well, you know what, John? That's who I've been speaking to. So do me a favor.
I'll hit him up.
Hit him up, because I keep reminding him, you know, it won't just be a couple bands getting up there playing for a few hours.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of anticipation, and it'll be like a homecoming, and I really would love to see it happen.
I think that'd be a great
We want to do it. It's, you know, it's Ace's call.
All right. Well, I'll throw that at John when I see him next month.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, hey, John, where can people find out more about your band and about what's going on with you guys?
Well, I would say we're working. The 4byfate.com page is under construction. There's some information on there. The best way to do it is to go to the 4byfate Facebook page.
Yeah. Okay.
FOURBYFATE on Facebook. We're all on there. The whole band is on there interacting all the time, because honestly, without our friends, we don't get to do what we enjoy. And I know you guys know the same. That's the same situation for you guys, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yep.
Amen.
Now, Moonshine has some killer cowbell. You think any of the other songs could have used some cowbell?
we made Rob do that. It had to. It was Moonshine. We needed cowbell on that.
Exactly.
Right?
As soon as I heard it, I was like, I'm going to love this fucking band.
Great. Yeah, no, that track's a lot of fun, and it seems to be getting a lot of attention, that one.
That's a great tune. And John, we're going to let you pick another song off the album to go out of the interview. What song would you like to play out of it?
Well, it's our brother AJ, and it's a song that Todd wrote, and everything he writes from the heart, and this is no exception. It's called I Give. Boy, don't get old, man. My alleged brain just shut down for about a nanosecond. That track's called I Give.
I Give.
All right, well, we're going to crank it up here on Rock and Metal Revival. And like I said, John Regan, it was an honor to have you here on Rock and Metal Revival.
Well, Red and Jerry, thank you so much. The honor is headed right back to you.
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Mega Rock Radio's on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noise Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on UncontrolledNoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations.